Wow. So first it was Pixar, then it was Marvel, and now it's Lucasfilm. Wow, they must really love buying things nowadays. Oh, Bob Iger, you are such a shopper. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, Disney has announced that they have bought Lucasfilm. You know, the company that's owned by George Lucas, or used to be, now he's retiring, and the company behind Star Wars and Indiana Jones. So, what does this mean for both franchises? Well, I wouldn't say I'm that big of a Star Wars fan. Okay, yeah, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I just had to do that one. Anyway, they've already announced that a new Star Wars film is to come out in 2015. Now, when it comes to a new Star Wars film, I wouldn't be too excited if it's thought of as part of the Star Wars series. If you're gonna make a new Star Wars film, here's what I would do. What I would prefer. I would have the Star Wars film be completely unrelated to the storylines of the six films, and just have it be a completely new story, new cast, new characters. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I even mentioned Luke Skywalker or Anakin Skywalker. Okay. One thing they could probably do with that, in my opinion, is probably do more storylines from the more of the earlier times of Star Wars, like perhaps the Old Republic with the Sith Empire. You know, stories like that. You know, they could also adapt some of the stories they've done before, such as the story of Revan and Malak, the Jedi Civil War. They could do Exar Kun and you know, it also wouldn't probably wouldn't even hurt to maybe adapt some of the books they've made. You know. But anyway, I wouldn't want this to. I don't want any new Star Wars films. I wouldn't be too excited if they decide to make the new Star Wars film take place, basically be related to the older ones. Okay, because how are we going to continue that story? It's already been continued according to books and well, yeah, series of books. And so much has happened since then. And unless And you have to go one of two ways. You would have to go by that continuity, and you'd probably have to explain a lot to people who are just getting introduced to the series, who who are new to this. Okay, I mean, if they watch a new Star Wars film and you put all the new characters in there, people are going to be wanting to know who is that? You know, that's Han Solo's daughter and Princess Leia's daughter. That's Luke Skywalker's son. That's wait, where's Chewbacca? Oh, he died earlier on. Or they could ignore the continuity, and while that could please some of the newer fans, so they wouldn't have to deal with new characters being introduced and them not knowing who they are, and we'd have to explain them. It would, however, very much anger a lot of fans who actually like those stories. I haven't read too many of them to be honest because it's not that easy to find books nowadays, but I know people like those stories. If they didn't, they wouldn't keep making them. They wouldn't keep continuing them on and on and on. Okay, if they didn't like them, they would have ended the story right then and there and just left it alone. So as it is, I would say don't have it be related to the Skywalker family. Either go to the earlier times, or you can even do something like Star Trek and go 100 years forward into the future, like there's a Star Wars comic book I think called Star Wars Legacy, which is supposed to be which is supposed to have like a big descendant of Luke Skywalker's being the star. That's what I would do. I would not bring back any cast members from previous films. Maybe Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker for C-3PO and R2-D2, maybe, but I wouldn't count it. I would just want this film to have new characters, okay? And you know, when it comes down to it, I wouldn't even want it to be called episode anything. Just have it be called Star Wars this, subtitle like that, like Star Wars, Rise of or Fall of Exar Kun. If you want to do that storyline, may as well. It could be a good one. You know, that's what I would want from the Star Wars film. I wouldn't be too excited about it if they said, "Oh, this continues the story," or maybe even splits the stories, like this happened between the stories or something. They can do stories about that, but I would prefer it if that was a separate trilogy, or maybe even a TV show, which I heard they were thinking about doing as well. Speaking of TV shows, will we end up seeing those on ABC or Disney XD? Well, currently Cartoon Network has the Clone Wars. I don't know if Cartoon Network is the one, if Warner Brothers or Cartoon Network is the one behind the Clone Wars. If it is producing it, then that could end up becoming a bit of an issue. Maybe, but maybe Disney could just like take it and say, "Oh yeah, we'll just show Clone Wars on our channel." I don't think they can though. So as it is, if Clone Wars goes on, and it probably will, I think they've. I mean, they already announced a new season, and they announced it like before um, this deal even came to pass. So, as far as I know, we'll at least get another season of Clone Wars. To be honest, I haven't even seen much of the show because, I mean, I'll admit it's okay, but well, I might look into it sometime, and I will admit some things I've seen of it are pretty okay, but it hasn't really completely caught my interest. I mean, it's okay. If another Star Wars show comes out, maybe I'll look into that instead. But as it is, um, Disney with Lucasfilm. As for merchandise, I don't see this affecting anybody at all. For one thing, when it comes to theme parks, Disney's already got Star Wars and Indiana Jones in their theme parks. So what's the point of that? We already have that. And I don't really see them doing anything new with that because they've already done it. And if they will do anything new with that, it'll be because they think of the idea anyway, and they probably would have. I don't think it changes anything about that part. And video games. Yeah, we'll get more video. Well, we'll get the video games anyway. So to be honest, I don't, unless, especially since LucasArts will still be making the video games, I don't really see this going into anything new. To be honest, the only changes I know are for sure is that the next Star Wars film will probably have the Disney Castle in front of it rather than the 20th Century Fox logo that we've been seeing in every Star Wars film today, which is another reason I would like this new Star Wars film to be separated from the original series, because then wait, we got a new Star Wars film that's being distributed by another company, and yeah, they can do that. I mean, they've done it before. They did it with Narnia recently, but I would prefer it if it's just two movie series separately. This was a series of, and if you start now making new stories, you may as well just keep start there. That way you can do stories wherever and wherever. You can adapt this. You can say that this happened, and it can be an interesting story. It can be something pretty good. It doesn't have. Personally, I don't think I. Okay, so as for Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, I say a new story. That's why I will go with that. But okay, while we know we're getting a new Star Wars film, this is obviously going to raise the question of, will we get that fifth Indiana Jones film that has gone under plenty of speculation? That's gonna Indiana Jones is gonna be harder to do for anybody. First off, I think Paramount still has the rights to Indiana Jones when it comes to movies. But there's also another issue. Harrison Ford, I think, is getting closer to the age of 70, and I have heard Spielberg say that he's probably got another 10 years or so in him if he wants to do another film like this. But that's 10 years. That doesn't exactly mean he'll be able to do it in, say, 2020 or something. No, 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 no. And if anybody named Alan Gunn is watching this, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, I did I saw your video. I saw the no more the where's indie video, and that's where the whole 2020 joke kind of came from. But as far as I know, it'll be hard to do another Indiana Jones film. They could do it. Personally, if they do another Indiana Jones film, I would have Harrison Ford like go into motion capture or something like that, have him look younger, and have this film take place before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, because in my opinion, that's where the stories of Indiana Jones ends. He get married. That should be it. Okay, I don't want to see any stories with him being a family man. I don't want to see stories with him with taking a Shia LaBeouf, taking his son everywhere. It's kind of, I think it's kind of silly, you know. And um, as for but I don't quite see the next Indiana Jones film coming out for at least a while. And personally, I think if it does, probably the most they'll do with it. And I'm not even so sure if this will even happen, but they might maybe instead do a reboot with a new actor and a new director and a new take on the Indiana Jones franchise. Personally, I now this is pretty unlikely because of course Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. It'd be like trying to find a replacement for Jack Sparrow. It's gonna be hard. So Indiana Jones' future pretty uncertain if you ask me. But Star Wars, well, there's a lot you can do with Star Wars because well, there's lots of characters, lots of stories, and with so many popular characters, you can even focus. You can maybe even do origin films for some of them, or focus on some of them. Something like what they've been doing with the X-Men characters, which I'm personally not too um, angry about because I did kind of like the Wolverine film. It was an okay film, and X-Men First Class, although it did have some continuity errors, did pretty well. Was okay in my opinion. So overall, I'm pretty sure I would. I say we just wait and see what happens with this deal, but and I'm not completely sure. Okay, I'm just gonna go with this and hope it turns out for the best. Hope that Lucas actually can trust these guys, can trust the guys at Disney. I know I'm a Disney fan, so but these are businesses, okay? Of course, there's gonna be people in there who are just trying to, and this is probably mostly about money. Yes, Disney has a very creative staff as well, but they also have a very financial staff, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Till then, I am Star Fox signing off.